I wanted to start just by asking about the trilogy, because in many ways we've seen what I'm assuming is a final film since you've announced it as a trilogy. But did you always have the idea of the three films in mind, or was this something that you came to? It's a much more playful film in many ways, without in any way avoiding the sort of serious undertone that the first two films also have.
Never planned it. It's just one film came after the other one, and I did Tony Manero, and then while we were editing it, we found the autopsy report for Salvador Allende, and then I decided to do that movie, and then right after that, Antonio Scarmeta with another producer thought that it could be a good movie to do a movie about this, and they came to me and said, let's do a dark comedy about this. And I said, you're kidding, this is not for a comedy, you know, you cannot. It's like, at that point it was like, can you make a comedy of Hitler, you know? I said, no, it's just not funny. And then we thought about it, and then we called Pedro Peirano, who's just such a brilliant screenwriter.
Yeah,
and
he did the fantastic The Maid, which some of our
he wrote, well, yeah, he did The Maid, and well, he wrote this script. It was very hard because we had so much information. We did a very long research. So we had a lot of documents and interviews and also archival footage. So it's very tough to put it down into a simple story. And he did it, and then we decided to make the movie. So it's pretty much like an accident. I never planned to make 3 movies out of this. I had many questions on how my country got in this dictatorship, in this sort of blood sad story. I thought making these movies I was going to be able to get some answers. And I never got anything. I still don't understand it, so I'm done. I'm out of it.
I'm going to ask you to elaborate more on your choice of working with the Umatic and the visual elements of the film. I think it's a very successful and brave decision. It allows you to present a lot of the archival material somewhat seamlessly with the fiction, and it also plays to, I think, a little bit of the humour in the piece as well. So can you talk about your decision to do that and
Sure. Standing here, I feel like we're about to sing something, but I don't sing. So, well, yes, it's as a moviegoer, as a spectator, I always felt that when the filmmakers are trying to combine archival footage with what they are shooting, you can usually tell the difference. You can usually understand. You can usually realize what is what. So the illusion goes away, and since the movie that you just guys saw has almost 30% of footage, it's archival footage. So I didn't know how much it was going to be a footage, but I knew it was going to be a lot. And I wanted to avoid, the idea of breaking from some high-end or state-of-the-art HD or maybe some 35 millimeter. So it would be so different. You would be always in and out, as an audience. So we decided to shoot the film in the same format that the archival footage was made, which is this tube cameras from early 80s. Which it was a whole technical adventure because it's obsolete. There are no machines, no wires. There's no technology anymore for that. So we had to talk to old people and said, "Can you please help us?" Yes, true. We had to talk to people who actually know how this equipment works, because it's. And then we hired this company in the United States who bought 20 cameras all over the United States. And they assembled 4 for us. And when we were shooting, they were like people, They would keep, they got tired, and then one day one was cold, and then the other one was hot, and then it wouldn't work. And then we finally managed, and I think I was very scared. I had to be honest. I never thought it was it's going to work, because I never thought how, I never knew how it was going to look in a big screen. This format has the half of image quality and resolution that an iPhone does. So it really is. So it's pretty. It was pretty kind of dangerous. And then when we talked to the people that was behind, or is behind this film, the people that finance it, the people that is producing the movie, and I said, look, we're going. I think I would like to make this movie with these cameras, and then said, you're crazy, that how could we, it's square, all the TVs now are flat, so everything is, we were against the times, and but then we all got together and we said, okay, let's do it, and we did it. And I think what happens is that most people don't really realize what we shot and what is actually archival footage. So we create the illusion, and I think that's what movies are about.
Can I ask you about your actors? I think Gael Garcia Bernal is really terrific here, and Alfredo Castro, of course, who plays the corrupt boss, has been a muse for you in your other films as well. So can you talk about the casting process, and did you have them in mind originally? Or?
Yeah, before we even wrote the script, we wanted to have Gael. I've been asked this before, and I don't know exactly why, but probably because he's a great actor, and for some reason we thought he was just the man, and we wanted Alfredo to be the antagonist, because I think both guys share something, although they're very different. They both have something that I think is very important in a character or in a performance, that they have this huge mystery. And no matter how much they talk, how much they think, or they express their feelings, they always hide something. And that's not me, it's them. They have that. Gael and Fred carries that mystery. So the audience, I think, are always wondering what's going on in his head. So that's why I thought they were the perfect match for the movie, and we were lucky to have them.
Which really works in his performance because of that borderline that he's always treading. You're never really quite sure whether he's on the right path or not, given that the motivations of the advertising world are so ambivalent, or he's ambivalent in relation to them, but also he hasn't really chosen his own position. So that kind of quality really works the whole way through the film, I think.
Well, because I think in somehow he's that what you were just saying, and I completely agree with that. It's a little bit the metaphor of the entire movie, because of course the No One, which is wonderful, we were able to kick out from the government one of the biggest in our country history, which is Augusto Pinochet. So the No One, but we kept some of the yes, because we kept his system. We were never able to judge him. He died free and millionaire. And my country sort of in this last 24 years sort of abused from the capitalism system that he actually impose and create. I'm a father. I have 2 kids, and it's very hard to pick how you could educate them, because having a decent education in my country is really expensive. Same with healthcare, and the state is very small, and the companies are very big, and somehow my country, it's owned by 7, 8 guys, and sadly one of them is the president of Chile right now. So I think we needed to have that. So that's why the character, and I saw you guys laughing, which is great, but privately I don't think it's that funny that he says the same thing when he presents the very first commercial, the free commercial, which is actually, it's a real one. And then when he presented political campaign, and then at the end, when he presented the soap opera commercial, he said the same lines. And that's because we did change a lot of things, but not all of them. So that's why we did that. And so a few things changed, but not all of them. We released the movie in August in my country, in Chile, and we had all kind of reactions. It was really, really polarized. We had opinions from the president, from the 3 former presidents before, after Pinochet, and from pretty much everybody had an opinion, which I thought was great. As a filmmaker, you want to have an opinions, no matter what they are. I think indifference is the worst for a filmmaker. So it was interesting. I felt that young people, not all of them, but some young people, when they look at the movie and they saw Pinochet saying all these weird things and these crazy things, and they were laughing, you know. And then from people that is my age and older, we don't think there's any fun of it. So it's pretty frightening because it has an emotional memory. So it's very different depending on your own biography and your own age and your own experience. What are your feelings out of the film? So we really had everything. We had a lot of people in the cinemas. It was very successful in the box office, which is obviously wonderful. And I feel that we're very lucky to be able to tell this story to the world, because I think most people know how Pinochet got in power, you know, the bombing, the coup, everything, but not many people knows how do we pull him out. And that's probably because dictators usually don't leave power through our elections. They usually leave power throughout a shootout or a blood story, you know, and we managed to have him out, but we negotiate with him. And when I'm saying this, we said, okay, we will play your game. We will go to this referendum. We will vote. But in exchange, he stayed for another 4 years as the head of the army. And then he stayed for another, until he died as a senator. So it was very hard to judge him. Actually, when he came to London, I don't know if you guys remember this, he got caught in the clinic, you know, and this clinic, and you finally release him, and when he got back, he just had a great time in Chile, you know. And then after he died, they discovered this 20 or $30 million bank account in New York City. So it's a bitter thing, you know. It's not the perfect scenario, but at least we got back democracy, and in my country you can think whatever you want, you can say whatever you want to say, and you can make a movie like this, which is great, of course. No, I never had any problem, not with this one, with any of the films that I have done previously. Never felt any kind of pressure. Maybe some people think I'm come from my father's a senator from the right. So the problems that I had is that some people thought that I wasn't the right guy to make this movie, even though I don't share the same ideas as my father does. But that's the only sort of issue that I had, but I never felt any kind of danger, not at all. That's what I was saying. In my country, you can express yourself, which is something very wonderful. You always had it. We had a long time that we didn't really have, and just like anything in life, you enjoy more things when you start to have them, you know. And so yeah, that's the reality. No, not at all. This movie is financed by the Chilean government, by a North American company which is called Participant Media, and by a French company called Funny Balloons. And we also had the support of network even before we make the movie. So it's like 4 countries, no problem.
No.
I understand. I wouldn't go that far. I don't. That would be challenging the intelligence of a lot of people. Um, what I do as a filmmaker is I just try to create a metaphor. It's a reading. It's a lecture. What you saw are real facts, but for example, the people that actually made the campaign, there are hundreds of people, and you just saw 5 because we had to like symbolize them in one card. So each character represent from 2 to 6 people because there were a lot of them. So what I'm just trying to express here is that I believe that when the political communications get together with advertising communication, the words start to mean way less. Like if you're walking on the street and you see a big ad and then somebody's selling a TV, so it's like a TV, whatever the brand it is, and it says, this TV is gonna change your life, you keep walking. You say, oh yeah, sure, you keep walking. And then if it's a candidate and it's telling you whatever he's running for, I am gonna change your life. The problem is that you keep walking too, because you read it and say, oh yeah, sure. That's a problem. We have so much information today throughout the social networks, throughout advertising, TV, radio, that we don't care much about what are people saying. And the problem is that that guy is actually going to run your society. So that's the reflection. We're in a point that everybody can say anything, and you don't care very well. And in the United States, they had this debate. I don't know if you're aware of that. Last week, I think, in between Obama and Rumi, right? And apparently Obama lost because Rumi was better in the debate. So we are having now, we're a spectator of a debate where the best, the best candidate is the best guy on TV. Like nobody's really wondering who is the better for actually run the country. So it's a performer. It's not a guy who you're not, I cannot believe it, The reactions were, oh, I think Obama died, and Obama was sweating, and Rumi was smarter, and whatever. Okay, well, let's talk about ideas. Let's talk about people who actually is better to run a country. But the communicational issue and how do you handle it and how do you move it, it seems to be more important than the ideas. And that's my reflection. And I think it's wonderful to release this movie in a moment there are so many things happening in this world. We have the Arab Spring. We have people that is occupying Wall Street. We have this movement in Spain, in Chile. I think pretty much everywhere there's a sensation that this system is not working that well. And I'm glad I made this movie, and I was lucky that it's so contemporary right now.